Hi, y'all. It's Karith Foster with Karith Foster, America's Girlfriend. And today's episode, I am so excited about because, it's one thing to interview somebody who fascinates you. It's another thing to be able to interview someone who you just consider like a soul sister. And even though our friendship is new, it was one of those instantaneous, like, oh, we are so on the same page with this. Now, many of you know I have been on a journey of healing for a while now, but most definitely it's intensified over the past 18 months or so. And so any kind of modality that allows me to go deeper, to have more insights, to get in touch with myself, of course, but also really to explore the possibilities and have limitless potential, like I'm all for. So when I met this woman and learned about what she does, it was like, you have come into my life at the perfect time. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you all to my new friend, Alexi. And say the name of your company again. I just blanked.
That's okay. It's the clarity code.
The Clarity. Okay, maybe you
Clarity.
need another cup of coffee. The Clarity Code, which who
Right.
doesn't want more clarity in their life? And over the next, however long this episode is going to be, we're going to talk about how do you get clarity. But the reality is, you actually already have it within you. And that's what one of Alexi's gifts are. And you have this clarity, you have this code on the tips of your fingers. So please introduce yourself, tell people what you do, and then I'm just going to start with the questions because I've
Okay.
experienced this. And I cannot promote this enough. So
Uh,
go ahead.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me here today. And yeah, like with me and you, it was like instant connection. You're like a soul sister a long lost soul sister. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Alexi. And for the last 25 years, I've been coaching people to get clear on their life purpose and to build their soul aligned business using the fingerprints and lines in their hands. So before you think it's a psychic reading. It's not palm reading. It was developed by a gentleman years ago who looked at 30,000 sets of fingerprints. And what he noticed was there was a pattern amongst the fingerprints, basically of their personality or what skill sets they had, what skill sets they lacked. And so he created this wonderful typing system where, everybody has different fingerprints. And think of it like this way, there's 4 or 5 basic types of fingerprints. And the way I like to describe it is think of them as freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, right, in high school. The higher ranking the fingerprint or your highest ranking fingerprint will be what's called your life purpose. And each fingerprint represents a specific skill. So you're going to be excellent at that particular skill. Your lowest ranking prints are what's called your life lessons. You are here to work on that particular lesson so that you can kind of graduate, right? And live your purpose. And so what I love about looking at the hands is, that saying, talk to the hand? People literally behave the way you expect from looking at their hands. And just like when we did yours, Karith, what was it like for you when I told you like, oh, this is your purpose and this is your lesson?
It was just such confirmation, right? So
Mhm.
while you weren't telling me new information, you were framing it in a way that made it certainly more digestible and just reaffirmed A, that I was on the right path, but it also gave me permission to step into my power. And I
Exactly.
think that that's what so many of my listeners are wanting to do. So many of the executives I work with, the CEOs, the leaders, the people who, and it doesn't mean you have to be that position in corporate America, but even so many of my friends, some who are stay-at-home moms, who are just looking for a little more direction and not even realizing that we do have it within ourselves. And so a reading like this, and I do want to reiterate that it's not about prophecy, right? You're not a gypsy, reading like this is what's going to
Yes,
happen in 5 years, and you're
exactly.
going to get married here, and you should have,
This many babies.
3.6 kids, right?
Right.
Like that's not what this is, and that's also why I have even more respect for it because I don't think anybody but God can really put that in our lives in a healthy way. You talk about, and this was a little bit on your website, the blueprint. that we all come with. Can you delve into that a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. Well, think about this. 5 months before you were born in the womb, your fingerprints formed.
Mm.
And imagine like an acorn has the coating within it to grow into an oak tree. Like it's not going to grow into a cactus or a rose. Think of your fingerprints as holding your personal blueprint within your DNA to reveal what you're here for, what your propensity is for a specific skill set, and what skill sets you're here to learn. Like it's basically showing your potential. Should you choose to, do your work, to dive into it and really express your best self. So it's yeah, I love the idea of the blueprint because it truly is encoded in your hands. And I've analyzed over 3,000 hands. I've never had a person go, oh, that's not me, because it's not guessing. It truly is a database, and it's called scientific hand analysis, and it's teachable, trainable, and duplicatable. And that's what makes it
I was going
scientific.
to ask, is
Yeah.
this something that other people could learn if they truly
Yes.
were interested in investing that time?
Exactly. Yeah, because each marker represents this, no matter what.
Got it. Got it.
And so
So
it
how
represents,
did
yeah.
you learn? When did you learn that you had, because you have this skill, obviously, and you have other abilities that are innate that kind of give you insight into people and spirit and things. Like how did this all come about for you?
Well, for me, I came to Hollywood to become an actress. I live in Los Angeles. Things were going good in the beginning. I came when I was a teenager. And then in my 20s, things kind of were at a standstill. And all of a sudden, I found myself working 60-hour work weeks at a network rather than doing my craft. And I was really miserable because I would see people, celebrities, well-known people, come in and pitch their projects and really live in their creativity and their purpose. And I just felt like such a schlump. My job was to make coffee, make photocopies. And I just felt like, I woke up every day literally thinking there's got to be more to life than this. This cannot be my life. And then just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I took my dog in. I'm a dog lover, and I can't imagine my life without a dog. I took him in for a routine dental, and the doctor found a lump, and they biopsied it, and it was cancer. 30 days later, my dog died, no matter what I did to try to save him. And it just kind of sent me into a tailspin. Like I didn't want to act anymore. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to see my friends. I didn't want to do anything because this dog was my life for 12 years. And so a friend pulled me over and said, look, you're too young to be this depressed. You don't give up on life now. Come see my coach. She's going to give you the instruction manual to your life. I'm like, what? I need that right about now. And literally, I showed this woman my hand. She said, shake your hands out and hold them up. In that hour, she told me things about me that nobody else knew. Like, those secret thoughts you have in your head, which you don't tell your girlfriends even, but it's just you. Like, she told me, oh, you feel guilty whenever you book work because you make more money than your parents. And you feel guilty when you don't book work because you're a type A overachiever and you're always head of your class. And I'm like, you got that
How
from
did
my
you know this?
fingerprints? Exactly. And she goes, it's in your left middle fingerprint. You have the guilt lesson. So everybody whose lowest ranking print is the left middle, you are suffering from guilt, which says and whispers in your ear, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. And you really believe it like it's true. And so what she told me is, it's only a lesson. You're here to learn that there's actually nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, what? It was that easy? And so everything clicked into place. Like, the Rubik's Cubes, like
Right.
all the colors.
Is it wrong to call this a cheat code? I
No,
feel like
that's
this
what
is
I
like a
call
life
it.
hack.
Exactly. I call it cheat codes. Like, remember those video games where you get a cheat code to like
Yeah, yeah.
get special skills and go to the next level? No, they're
Right.
cheat codes basically. They're cheat codes because you were born with it, but we don't know how to translate it. And that's where I come in because it is a life hack. Because once I knew that that was my lesson and it wasn't the truth, because I'd been living all my years on the planet thinking it was the truth that there was something wrong with me. Literally 2 months later, I booked 2 commercials that paid my rent for 2 years.
Can we
Because
say
I,
that louder for the people in the back?
yes,
It is your lesson. It
yes,
is not your truth. It is your lessons
exactly.
are to be learned. Lessons are to be
Yes,
studied. Lessons are to be experienced, and then you up level.
exactly. Yeah, because, some of the lessons you could have are you feel like a failure, but you're not. You feel overwhelmed and powerless, but you're not. You feel guilty like there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's paralyzing fear of rejection, intimacy, blocked intimacy challenge. There's family and community out of sync. There is money, discipline, self-worth. There's fear of rejection. There's inability to speak up for yourself. Does not mean it's true. It just means that's your particular lesson in this lifetime. Yeah. So yeah,
Wow. I
I find
mean,
it's a great hack.
the lives that could be changed from this experience. Because I think so many people feel stuck right now. And I know that
Mhm.
I have been in that position in different iterations of my life and my career. And you're like, well, what do I do? How do I get out of this? And you're literally telling me that I already have the answers in my hands.
Yep.
I just need someone to help me interpret it and
Exactly.
understand it so that I can take on the challenge. I can, be my own hero.
Exactly. Exactly. And then by the same token, remember when I said your highest ranking prints are going to be your life purpose. For everybody who thinks, oh, I can't possibly be that, and like what my ego thinks I'm going to be this person who's going to be in the spotlight speaking on big stages. Well, if it's in your fingerprints, that's what you're here for.
It's literally in your DNA. It is in
Yes,
and we all know that, no two fingerprints are alike, right?
exactly.
So
Hmm.
you are uniquely you. It's not just this like cliche, oh, you're special, everybody's special. No, legitimately, like
You
you are
are.
only you. So you
Exactly.
are. You
Yes.
are. This is phenomenal. And I mean, the experience that I had with you just last night when we did this, it opened my eyes, to possibilities that they weren't far off dreams, but it did sometimes seem a little bit out of reach because it's like, well, how am I going to get this? How am I going to do this? And I think we even discussed like the how isn't really my business. Like
Hmm.
that's kind of a God thing. Just take the steps toward it and
Exactly.
everything will unfold. But in order to take the steps forward to do it, you have to kind of get out of your own way. And when you know what that Achilles heel is, what that block is, which you identify
Hmm.
in this reading, then you can move forward. Then you can deal with it. You can tackle it.
Yeah.
And that makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, completely. Because then it's not like you have to do 10 things. You just focus on this one thing, this one
And
thing.
is it always just one thing, or I know, like, when we were kind of going through this, and I don't remember all of the terminology,
Hmm.
but you said, it's kind of freshman through senior,
Yes.
right? Is it your freshman thing that's the one thing you really have to work on, or where is that indicator of your block?
Well, depending on, because again, it's the lowest ranking print versus the highest. Some people might not have a freshman print, they might have a junior print because all the rest
Okay.
are seniors. Okay. So let's say you have 5 different junior level prints, 5 lessons. At the end of the session, I will help you find the one thing, the key that will unlock your purpose. Because usually, the story I tell is like, remember in junior high or high school when the principal would come in or say, like, you know what, your teacher's sick, you're going to get a substitute teacher. And everyone's really quiet until they leave the room. And then there's one kid who throws a spitball. All of a sudden, everybody else is throwing spitballs or dancing on the tabletops. It's that one kid, though, that starts it. So think of your lessons. There's one lesson that starts all the others spiraling and going bananas,
Ah,
right? So some people have one lesson, like you and I have just one lesson. Other people can have 5 or 8 even. But
got
there's
it.
one that's going to be the leader of the pack that you focus on, then the others will follow suit. They'll fall in line.
And to the inverse of it,
Hmm.
while there are lessons and blocks, there are also gifts that you identify that are in our
Exactly.
hands.
Yes, there are lines in the hands. And think of the lines in your hands. They're like a map of your major neural pathways. So as your mind changes, your brain changes, the lines, not the major lines, but the other lines can change because it really is, it's part of the whole system, right? They have medical hand analysts that could look at your heart line, which is the top line here, and they
Hmm.
will tell a surgeon which arteries are clogged, which valves need replacing based
Stop
on,
it.
yes, I don't know how to do that. I wish I did, but they do have that because this is a map literally of your body, of what's
Right,
going on
right.
subconsciously. It's fascinating to me.
But okay, so if you say that you can read the body through the hands, are
Mhm.
we talking about reading our soul through the hands or our spirit through the hands? Like, how would you describe that?
Like to me, I do describe it like that as your life purpose blueprint for your soul. Your soul left you clues. Like you just need to find someone who can decode your cheat codes for you. Do you know what I mean? And to me, this is way more accurate than any personality test you could take, because of course, when we take those tests, we're thinking the best idea of ourselves, right? Your hands
Right,
don't lie. They're
right.
going to be what they are. And then that, a lot of times people tell me, oh my God, I now have permission to be myself. I can just be, instead of trying to be something that I'm not.
That is so significant. I think about the people that I run into every now and then who I try not to do it too much on planes because people they're like, well, tell me a joke. I don't admit, I'm a comedian. I've
Right.
done a 20 something year stand-up career. But like the people that, oh, I wish I had done that. I wish so many people like, but my parents wanted me to be a doctor, or I knew that I needed to make money to do this. But what if you actually could have made money doing your passion that you ignored? And
Exactly.
now you're living this kind of ho-hum life because you didn't give yourself permission.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people are depressed and in the doldrums and hard on themselves
Hmm.
when they know they're responsible, but they just don't know why. They just don't know the keys to unlocking it. And the fact that you can offer that, like I I don't know who wouldn't want your services.
Oh my God, I know, right? Like when I first started reading hands, I wanted to look at everybody's hands because I thought, doesn't everybody have that marker? And they don't.
Oh,
Each person
wow.
has different lines. Like you and I share a particular line, speaking of depression, I don't know if your viewers can see this. This is your headline here.
Uh-huh.
And if it goes down here into this part of the hand,
Yeah.
this is the gift marking of someone who is here to help lost souls find their way home.
Wow. And
And the
that's the
pen
one we share.
Yes, and the penalty for not doing that out in the world in your passion work is depression.
That tracks.
Exactly, right?
That
Yeah.
tracks. That
So I mean,
tracks.
just knowing that shows you clues of how you can course correct. It's like a GPS system for yourself. It's like a map. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why do I
How do
feel
you
this
how do you
way?
keep from this being like your party trick every time you go to a cocktail hour,
I
girl?
know, I know. It's so, I mean, because when I first started, I would do birthday parties. And then
Uh-huh.
if we had to be at a restaurant, then the staff would come to me afterwards at closing going, can I get a reading? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. And it's
Oh,
so
that's so great.
satisfying sharing with people like something about them that's really, um, what is it called? It's not permission. It's like acknowledging them,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I see in our future, not as prophecy, but just because I like you so much. And I love what you do, and I see the gift that you have to offer us collaborating and doing some things. And I'm actually getting ready to do some workshops focusing on my get your shift together
Nice.
for women and leaders. And I cannot not see how valuable this is a
Yeah.
tool for people who may not even realize they have. I mean, I think everybody at this point in society can acknowledge, like, yeah, I feel stuck sometimes, or this is a pain point for me, or I have a block here. And to be able to have someone in a matter of minutes utilize skills that they've built up over the years
Yes.
to offer that, it's kind of like going to the doctor and saying, I'm sick, my tummy hurts, I don't know why, and the doctor says, oh, well, because you ate shrimp 2 weeks ago and it's still fermenting in your belly because you're
Right.
you're blocked, so take
Exactly.
this, go for a walk, do this a yoga twist, and you're good. Like,
Yeah.
what?
It's
So
really,
let me ask
yeah.
you, because I want to keep this short and sweet because I think
Yes.
like you've already just shared so much valuable information about the process. How would somebody reach out to you and contact you, and what do they need to give you so that you can do a proper reading?
What I would need are photographs of your hands and fingerprints. And I would, whenever someone signs up, I would send them instructions and examples. And then we would meet either in a group class or a private session where I would literally break down your cheat codes for you and give you practical application of how to use it in whatever it is that you're up to manifesting. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people come to me when they're in a transition mode. Either they're empty nesters or they have reached the pinnacle of their career, they're successful, but there's something is still missing, you know? And so that's where a lot of people could use the clarity and go, oh, and fine tune whatever it is they're doing or just make a total shift. in a totally different direction and have the permission slip from their hands to go, this is so in alignment with you, you know?
And again, it's not you giving permission,
No,
it's
it's
you
your
telling us what
hands.
we're giving ourselves permission to do. It's literally all you.
Exactly.
You're just a translator.
Exactly. That's all I am. I just know what your
That's
cheat codes
that's
are.
I mean, you can't beat that.
Right.
You can't. You
No.
can't. So Alexi and I are partnering up in some ways. There is going to be a link to access Miss Alexi and her amazing talents and abilities so that you too can get a reading. You don't just offer readings, though. What else do you do?
I do group programs, and basically the readings I'm offering, because I'm not interested in doing a one and done reading. And just so your audience knows, it's not a reading again like you would get at the boardwalk. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
coaching, it's really transformational work. And so, with what I'm offering right now, as far as the like 5 week program or the one on one, you're going to get as a bonus from signing up through Karith's link 6 months of support of Mastermind, because I really want people to step into their purpose, not just like, oh, that's nice. No, I want you to step into your purpose. If you are up for big things, if you're watching this, you probably are. I want to hold your hand and have you in community so that you can take that next step into whatever it is your soul came here to do.
Because and I will edify why that is important
Yes.
because I think a lot of people, while they may, do the head nodding like I was doing on the phone, there will also be this, okay, well, what do I do next? And that's where the other work comes in.
Yeah.
That's where the coaching, that's where the hand holding. And look, there are
Mm-hmm.
times when I need my hand held. I do it
Mm-hmm.
for other people and I need it for myself. And I think some of the most successful people in the world know that they don't have all the answers
Yeah.
and they need someone else. I mean, all the CEOs I work with, all the folks that they are constantly working with coaches, doing programs because they know how much they don't know. And
Exactly.
they realize that that is almost like the life hack. You have somebody help you along so that yes, you're still doing the work and you're owning it, but you have kind of a safety net, if you will, as you're on the journey. So it's not just, okay, well, now what? Which
Mm-hmm.
is confusing, which is, it's not clarity. It's the opposite. It's chaos.
Exactly. Exactly. Because what good is a map if you're just going to sit home? You know what I mean? Let's get on the road, right?
Let's do it. And I think people are really in that time in their lives where they're like, yes,
Yeah.
I know something needs to shift.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to make it happen, but I'm not exactly sure how. And to have again this blueprint that's literally already within you,
Mm-hmm.
and then being given the guidance to get to where you really your heart and your soul wants to go. That's
Oh my
chef's
God.
kiss.
Exactly. Well, especially with the times we're living in where everything is so uncertain, it really is a time where people are going within and trying to find answers. And so to
Yeah,
me, having your own blueprint, I'm not giving you the answers. I'm just saying this is what your print says and it'll resonate with you. Do you know what I mean? Because it's yours. Like if I
it's
were to read
yours.
my hands and tell you what was in my hands for you, you'd go, that doesn't sound like me. But because it's yours, it totally resonates.
That
Yeah.
is so cool. And this is so next level stuff. Like this isn't your horoscope.
No.
This isn't a psychic reading. This is your body telling you what you really were put on this planet to do. And that speaks volumes as to how powerful God is, the universe is, and how powerful we are. So thank you for being a conduit for that.
Oh, my
And
pleasure.
we're going to give people that information in the links and everything below. And I am so glad I met you, and I cannot wait to do workshops with you and retreats and all sorts of fabulous, amazing things because we just click like that.
Oh my
So
gosh,
thank you, Alexi,
totally.
for joining.
Thank you so much for Karis for having me here today.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.